Welcome back, Morning Barbados. It's a Monday, and it's time for us to play the Virtues game. Wow. Yeah, that was just part of the special effects for the game right there. You saw it? Yeah, we're still working on it, you know. Maybe a little bit of lights, whatever. But yeah, it's time to welcome back to our studio Cheryl Seeley. We have been talking about the Virtues Project for some time now. We've tried to get you to include the language of virtue in your vocabulary. We have the dreaded question segment where we try to come up with the virtues as she presents them to us. Cassandra's back, so I'm going to let her take all the questions. Because, you know, I just wanted to catch up and fill her vocabulary.
Is that how it's supposed to work?
Yeah, I want you to have as many words as I do. You know, words like courtesy and unity and humility and, you know.
Tolerance.
Oh, I see you've remembered some of them.
Determination.
Yeah, we're determined to let you.
Assertiveness.
Are you asserting yourself now? All right. Cheryl, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Good morning.
Doing good. We're good.
Glad to be back.
Cassandra's back. And
yes, I'm very happy.
There's no balance, you know.
boy.
People are falling off the world. I'm telling you. People were like, what's happening?
You're so full of love.
I'm telling you, I'm walking on the road today and people are going to be like with big smiles on their faces. Because they were approaching me like, what did you do to Cassandra?
That's right.
Yes. Okay.
So ask all the questions. So. That's my welcome back.
Okay. So, you know, there are your choices again from the 52 virtues. And you remembered, you know, well what we did last time. And let's look at some other virtues now, because we want to increase our virtues vocabulary. How about this one? You have, no, I think we did that one. Let's talk with this one. Number 31. Let's go to number 31. All right, we've done a lot right now.
Yeah.
So we're all the way down to 31. You are industrious, which you are. You both are. You work hard to accomplish wonderful things. What virtue would that be? Can you name that virtue?
I think determination would be one of them.
Well, determination comes into play, but that's not the one.
Perseverance? No. Reliability?
No, but it does start with a D.
It starts with a D.
Oh.
Diligence.
Diligence.
Oh.
Yes. That was close. Yes, you were. That person is very diligent. How about number 32? You work together with others to create a happy and safe environment. All right? You work together with others to create a happy and safe environment. Name that virtue.
Police.
I'd say caring.
No, but to work cooperatively, you have to be caring. Yeah.
So cooperation is what you're looking for.
That's right.
Okay.
Good
cooperation.
tips.
Cooperation. See, she's fast.
Yeah, she is. You know.
Okay, number 33. You know what is enough for you. Not doing too much or too little. Name that virtue.
That's moderation, Colin. Come on, you don't have to think about that one.
Yes, that is moderation.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that break really did her good.
What are you suggesting, another one?
Well, should we do one more?
Yeah.
Okay. I meant a break. But another virtue is fine.
Break is not a virtues word. We're only using virtues word.
That's fine.
No, we just got you back. We want you here.
You know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
You live with a sense of respect for what you believe is right. You live by your virtues. You live by virtues. What would that virtues be? Or that virtue?
I'll leave you to deal with this one.
Self-discipline.
No. You live with a sense of respect for what you believe is right.
What I believe is right.
So you live with this
Responsibility?
virtue. No.
No tip?
Okay.
No hint?
It starts with an H. It starts with an H.
Honor?
Yes, you live with honor. An honorable person lives by virtues and by what they believe is right. All right, do you want one more or should we stop here?
That's a lot to think about.
Yeah, we will go to
So the ones we did today were diligence, cooperation, moderation. Excuse me.
All right. Right. Diligence, cooperation, and moderation. 3 words to add to your virtues vocabulary today. So you can say, I like how you cooperate. You know, you show a spirit of cooperation, Cassandra.
Thank you, Colin.
And you're very diligent.
And I will say you work very hard, whether it's one kind of communications or the other kind of communications. You too are very diligent.
Right, yes.
You are committed to the
course.
cause.
And if you see me on TV, do not call me. Call me when I've
Wait
come up.
until you don't see us, okay? Wait until you don't see us and
All
then
right.
call.
Okay,
Patience is a virtue. Okay.
Yeah, so we're back now.
Okay. Yes. So another topic that I've been getting a lot of questions about lately has to do with children at school. And this takes place in the workplace too. Can you guess what that may be? A negative behavior that we're having a lot of difficulties with these days.
Well, it has been in the news a lot in
Yes,
recent times.
has been
So
in the news
it's
a lot.
not such a difficult guess, is
So
it?
name that problem.
It begins with a B.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're talking now about this bullying behavior. And notice I've said bullying behavior rather than bullying, because when we get to the naming and shaming thing, the minute I call somebody a bully, then right away they're going to internalize that, and they'd have a tendency to more be one, because I've named them, I've shamed them into this. So we want to talk about the behavior is bullying rather than the person is a bully.
Okay.
Right away that helps already. So people ask, well, what is the cause of that, say in the school? If you check those children that are displaying this bullying behavior, chances are they are also a victim of it. Probably in the home, or maybe they're now in a senior class and they had been a victim in a junior class. Believe it or not, I actually heard that a parent stood up at a PTA meeting and said, oh, well, don't worry about that, because when my child is older, you know, when your child is older, then they can do it too. So instead of being a victim, they can, you know, be a perpetrator.
A rite of
So,
passage.
yeah, well, there you go. But the question is, why is all this taking place now? And were you victims of bullying when you were?
No. They didn't
No.
try. I was tall.
Oh, okay. You're tall for your
Yeah.
age.
I was just a bad guy.
Okay.
You know,
The first
I had
step in
swagger.
healing is admitting.
And you know, I didn't have that problem either, even though, you know, I was born in Barbados and my parents immigrated to Canada. And at that time, I was the only person of color in the whole school. You would think that I would have been a victim, but I was not. So the question arises, well, what makes somebody a victim? And as somebody said, in the animal kingdom, people know if you are an alpha male or alpha, you know, if you have that dominant status, or if you don't. And I find particularly children tend to know that, because I remember when I was a new teacher, when I started teaching, you know, you're very afraid when you go into the classroom, because for the first time you're in front of 30-something children, you're new. And they always give, in those times, they would always give the new teacher the most difficult class, because obviously a veteran teacher won't take it. So I remember having this class, and there was one boy in there, and he would come up to the front and he would, you know, really behave badly. And I was afraid at first. And then one day I was at home thinking, I thought to myself, because you don't get a permanent teaching contract until you've had at least a year of experience, and classroom control is a big thing. You have to be able to manage the classroom. So I decided, you know what, this day I'm going to school, and I'm not going to be bothered about contract, not contract. That is my classroom, and
Right.
I'm in charge. So I was teaching science, and this boy came up as usual. And by the way, I found out his background was that the mother had abandoned the family, just left one day when he was maybe 4 or 5, and never came back. And he did not like women. So here now his form
boy.
teacher is a woman. So you see, it's always
were
a
in for
reason.
it.
I was in for it. So he came up as usual, and all I did, I never forget his name. I can say it now because it wasn't even in this country. And his name was Kenny. You know, imagine all this time I remember. And I looked at him, and all I said is, Kenny, sit down. Kenny looked at me that day, and he knew this was a different day. Nothing had changed except my attitude. And Kenny turned around, sat down, and I never had that problem with Kenny or any other child again. And so I've thought about this for a long time. And it's the same thing with children at school. You will have a child come up and they will say something, and this one will, you know, that victim mentality, will maybe start crying or maybe get angry. So now you have a little puppet, and they're thinking, and I've actually heard kids say, let's go and say something to him, because they get a reaction. Now, if a child just says, you know, move away from me or something, or not, just can't be bothered, do you think they would go to him over and over again, or her? Probably not. So a lot of it has to do with, you know, self-esteem of the person, and the self-esteem of the person who's displaying the bullying behavior tends to be low as well. So a lot of these problems can be solved by giving persons a sense of worth and a sense of purpose and raising that self-esteem. So that's a long answer to a question.
Okay.
But the thing is, how do you, once you've identified bullying behavior in a kid or maybe even an adult, how do you now address this? Because you already have some behavior that is going to be aggressive or however. How do you approach this as a peer, or should you approach it at all? Should you get help from someone else?
Well, yes, that's the kind of workshops we do, because there's not a quick fix. When you have somebody who has been displaying this behavior for a long time, and when it appears in the workforce, this is probably somebody who has been displaying this behavior all through school. It was never checked, and now they just go to work and they display the same behavior. Exactly. So the best thing to do is train the whole staff, the whole class, the whole school, not just that one person.